All right, we're going to begin this hour with a powerful story, a story about overcoming obstacles, and it's by our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud. David met a teenager who has an incredibly severe case of Tourette syndrome. We're talking about tics so bad, so intense that sometimes this teenager felt like he was choking. And by the way, it's a story that's personal for David. If you don't recall, he himself was diagnosed with Tourette syndrome at age 6. And so what David did in this case is he followed along this 17-year-old from Pennsylvania as the child went along what had a radical treatment. We're going to see how he's doing now.
How are you feeling?
Good, pretty good. As he prepared for brain surgery, 17-year-old Callum DeQuevedo hoped for a chance at a normal life. A life that would overcome the grip Tourette's syndrome has had on him.
There's no brain like Callum's. So he's going to be a unique challenge, and designing his trajectories will be different from any other patient.
His surgeon, Dr. Ted Panov at Mount Sinai West, which is a hospital in New York City, told him that inserting wires into his brain, connected to a neurostimulator under his collarbone, were his last best hope of reducing or even eliminating the involuntary movements and ticking sounds Tourette's has caused him to make.
We scrub in the morning.
This surgical procedure has successfully helped people with Parkinson's disease, but it has yet to be approved by the FDA to treat Tourette syndrome. Callum's condition became uncontrollable 3 years ago at a high school track meet. He was 14 years old then.
You picked him up at the track field, and what was happening then?
He just got in the car and he was down, and I said, you know, what's wrong? He was really excited about the track meet, and he said, I don't know, can't breathe.
Dawn DeQuevedo is Callum's mom.
Maybe you're coming down with something, you know, maybe you're getting a cold. So the next day, send him off to school, and the nurse calls and says, listen, he really is struggling to breathe. So every day that week, the nurse called and said, something's not right.
But nobody knew it was Tourette.
Nobody knew it was a tic. I mean, we went to an ENT, and they said, well, there's something called vocal cord dysfunction. And they sent us to a speech therapist. He said, you know, this is beyond my expertise, and he sent us to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
How many doctors did you see?
We estimate a little over 30.
30 doctors?
Yeah.
Over 7 months?
Yep.
Before anybody diagnosed him with Tourette syndrome?
The worst episodes led to frequent visits to the emergency room.
There are videos. You experience tics of screaming, cursing, hitting yourself in the head.
A lot of head jerking, face scrunching, grunting.
I know there were these nights where 1, 2, 3 in the morning he would just be up screaming.
Screaming. That's why we were videotaping it for the doctors, and it just took a long time for anybody to come to a conclusion.
Did it feel hopeless to you?
Yeah, even after I got diagnosed, I struggled with mental health, and I actually tried to kill myself at one point.
It's really hard when you have a kid this age who's really looking forward to doing things in life, and you're sitting as a parent saying, I don't know if you can.
How Callum got to be one of the few people with Tourette's eligible for the surgery was every bit a tribute to his parents' persistence to get help and to get the insurance company on board. And it was a tribute to Dr. Juhi Jimenez Shahed, a neurologist and leading expert on Tourette's at New York's Mount Sinai West.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Take care.
Now, it's not unusual for Tourette's to go undiagnosed, but after visiting 30 different doctors, Mount Sinai offered a promising treatment.
Callum is one of the few folks to whom extra treatment is needed. A lot of people out there are able to cover up for their tics and are able to deal with it, but unfortunately him, as bright as he is, it's really stopping his life.
To make sure they settle?
The procedure Dr. Panov performed back in December involved drilling 2 small holes into Callum's skull to insert the tiny wires into his brain. Guiding the surgeons was an MRI scanner, providing real-time images of the brain to help find where the brain could be most receptive for successful treatment.
Callum will be the first one at our center on our scanner.
This is the first time journalists were allowed to observe and record the procedure.
The brain is smarter than anything that we can ever imagine. And the brain is able to get this help from this device and start learning together with the device. So months after months, Callum can show improvement.
Callum's condition did not show an immediate improvement, and it wasn't expected to. Over the holidays, his skull had to heal first. Then the staples needed to be removed.
All right, so we'll start with this guy here. Now, each one of these is going to be like a tiny little sting.
With that done,
All right, ready? Yep. Okay, here we go. So I'm just
Dr. Juhi Jimenez Shahed slowly started the neurostimulator that would send a current to Callum's head. The hope was he would become calmer and gain some control.
So kind of bit by bit, we're going to kind of ramp this up, okay? And you tell me if that intensifies or if you start noticing anything else.
Yeah, I feel a lot more relaxed.
It's pretty immediate, huh?
Yeah.
For the next hour and a half, the doctor adjusted the levels, and there was already reason for optimism.
And how about now?
I just feel like this is the best I've felt in a long time.
Now watch what happens when she turns off the stimulators.
I'm going to go down to 0, okay? So you tell me what changes when we do that. What's happening there?
My urges came back for my simple tics. My toes are going crazy right now.
So you're definitely feeling like you have to do it now.
With the stimulator attached to the left side turned off, his tics came back. Then, when she increased the level of stimulation to the right side, he got more relaxed.
So that's the sweet spot.
Then, he was ready to control the device himself.
So you're going to open up the app. Then it says your therapy is on, right? So that's how easy it is to do anything with it.
Okay.
Okay?
The procedure and Callum's initial response were a success.
Let's get to the good part.
Yes.
It is now working in your head. It's turned on.
Yes, it is turned on.
How do you feel?
I just feel very relaxed. I don't think I ever realized since I was 13, since that breathing started, how even my muscles were always just very contracted and I was always very stiff. I think the biggest thing today was when I had my hands out like this and the one side was trembling and the other side wasn't.
Now neither one.
Yeah, now neither one is trembling as bad as they were.
I have to tell you, in the brief time I've known you, I've noticed how stiff it makes you. You seem at ease.
I definitely am. I feel more relaxed now. It's nice that I don't have to be moving constantly to keep myself distracted or to stop the tics. I can sit at my house and watch TV without worrying about screaming or hitting my head or punching myself or anything like that.
I just want to smile just listening to that. Callum tells us that he believes his tics have been reduced 70% since this device was implanted in his brain.
Boy, David, thank you for bringing us that story. It's so fascinating to watch it happen in real time as you were showing the difference that it was making for Callum. And kudos to his mom, his dad, and him for going through that. It was scary just watching it. Anytime you see the brain open that way, that was very, very daunting to watch. But the outcome is fantastic.
Immense. It's huge. I mean, you go from talking less about your tics to more about your dreams. He's talking about going back to school. He's looking into the future rather than looking down at the ground. I mean, I've never seen someone struggle as much as Callum did. And almost immediately, I looked at him and things just softened from head to toe. It was remarkable.
And what's it like for you, David? Because you know somewhat what this young man feels. Right. What's it like for you to see this happen?
It warms my heart because I don't struggle as much as he does. But, you know, we all have issues, something that we're dealing with. But my heart just pained watching this young man sit at home. Yeah. And I just can't salute his parents enough because everyone deserves a set of parents. I mean, I could weep thinking about it. Everyone deserves a set of parents like that young man has. They are the reason he is still alive today, and they are the reason he is now better than ever.
Yeah, his parents and his medical team. I'll take two, please. Thank you, David. Thank you.
Beautiful story, David.
Again.
Amen.
Well done.
You bet.
David Begnaud strikes again.